As a parent, there's one thing that you need to know about raising kids who have a healthy relationship with food and their bodies, and that is that you have more positive influence than you think. Kids learn to feel about food and their bodies from what they observe. It's the way we talk about food, it's the way we talk about our bodies, the way we behave at the dinner table. All of that is being absorbed by your kids and often without us even realizing it. I'm Dr. Lara Zibarras, psychologist and binge eating recovery coach. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 areas where that modeling can happen most powerfully and what you can actually do in each one. So let's get into it. Your relationship with food and your body is the foundation. So the first place to look is actually yourself. And I say this with a huge amount of compassion and love because I know that as a parent, being a parent myself, that you are doing your absolute best every single day. But most of us were never actually taught to have a healthy relationship with food or our bodies. You may have grown up in a time where everything that we saw was about critiquing bodies or having a disordered relationship with food. So you might want to think about the beliefs that you carry around food. Are there foods that you feel guilty eating, for example? Or foods that you describe as bad or naughty? Maybe you have rules. They may be conscious or subconscious about what you should or shouldn't eat. Those beliefs will show up in what you do and what you say, and your kids will pick up on that. And it's not just about food, it's about our bodies as well. So how do you speak about your body? Do you comment on your weight, or do you pick apart certain parts of your body? Do you make remarks, maybe even just really offhand ones, about other people's bodies? Because kids are listening to all of that and they are forming beliefs about how they should look or how they shouldn't look and whether their body measures up. And again, this isn't about being perfect. It's just being aware of how you are speaking about food or how you are speaking about bodies in front of your kids. Now, if what I'm describing is bringing up some stuff for you and you want some practical tools to help support your child's body image, I have a free webinar called the Body Confidence Code. It's specifically designed to help parents do just that, support their child's body image. It goes into some practical steps that you can take to protect and nurture your child's body confidence during those crucial teenage years. The link to sign up is below. The second thing I wanted to mention is the everyday habit that shape how kids see food and their bodies. So this second area is really the everyday stuff. It's the everyday habits that happen around food and bodies without us really even thinking that much about them. One of the most impactful things you can do regarding food is to stop labeling or categorizing food. So we have this natural tendency to categorize food into 2 categories. It's either good or bad, or healthy versus unhealthy, or clean, toxic, or treat, or junk, or naughty. We want to take away that moral labeling of food, because when we are saying that food is naughty or food is bad, and then a child eats that naughty or bad food, they internalize that and believe that they are naughty or bad. So over time, eating that kind of food can lead to guilt, it can lead to secrecy, and a complicated relationship with all of those foods. Related to this, if you've ever noticed that your child is absolutely obsessed with sweet food, chocolates, that kind of thing, it may be due to restriction. Very counterintuitive, I know. But if foods like that are very controlled or off limits, then they actually become more exciting, not less exciting. So actually allowing your children to have access to those kinds of foods on a regular basis every now and then is a really good way of taking those foods off a pedestal and normalizing eating them. And you'll be surprised that the more access they have to those foods, the less likely they are to want to eat them. And then there's the mealtime environment as well. So think about those meal times. Do you sit down and eat together? And I get that people are busy busy, you may have really long working hours, and you can't always all sit down together. But I really recommend having at least 2 or 3 times per week where you sit down as a family. Then look at those meal times. Are they stressed? Are they rushed? Aiming to have relaxed meal times, connected meal times, where you're not pressuring your children to eat everything off their plate or eat all the vegetables, and not having any commentary like, are you really going to eat that? Or I think you've had enough. If kids are constantly feeling stressed and pressured during meal times, again, that can create a complicated relationship with food. I also recommend, and again, I get that people have very busy lives, but to the extent that you can, is aiming to have meal times without screens. When we eat in front of a screen, we're more likely to eat mindlessly and be disconnected from the eating experience. So this kind of sets your children up to be mindless eaters. We actually want them to be mindful eaters, where they are connected with the eating experience, connected with their own hunger and fullness cues. So aiming to have screen-free meal times as well is definitely a bonus. So the third point is how you are talking about food and bodies at home. Language is really important in terms of what we are talking about and how we are talking about these things, because children learn at a very young age their sense of worth around their body or how they relate to food. So it's important to think about how you are responding to your children around appearance-based comment. I really recommend moving away from appearance-based comments. So for example, comments around bodies. All bodies are different, and that's completely normal. So recognizing and acknowledging body diversity is a really positive thing. So moving away from that sense we get on social media that all bodies look a certain way, actually in reality that's not true. And acknowledging body diversity, that everybody is different, and celebrating that's a really positive thing. It starts to build a much healthier framework. Really be aware of what comes out of your mouth when you're talking about your own body. So if you are scrutinizing your body in front of the mirror, saying, oh gosh, look at all my wrinkles, or I wish I could lose these last few kilos, or look at the rolls on my stomach, or whatever it is, pointing out your flaws often results in children being very critical of their own bodies. It's also important to think about the language around eating. So are you a family that requires the kids to completely finish everything off their plate, for example? Or telling them that they can't have any pudding until they've finished absolutely everything off their plate or all their greens. It may seem really harmless, and I get it. I get why people do this, because they are really concerned about making sure that kids eat healthily, for example. But actually forcing children to eat when they are saying that they've had enough can disconnect them from their fullness cues and consistently get them to eat past the point of fullness. And I'm not joking. How many clients I have worked with in the last few years who specifically point to that being one of the reasons why they struggle to leave anything on their plate or really listen to those sensations of fullness. So to wrap this up, I don't want to lay the blame in parents. Parenting is really hard, and I'm a parent myself. I really know this. And I also don't think you need to have the perfect relationship with food or body to raise children who are body confident, who have a healthy relationship with food. It's just about having more conscious awareness about what it is you're saying and doing and how you are modeling that to your children. I think the biggest thing to take away is that children really do model what they see and hear. So one of the most powerful things you can do is not about controlling what your children eat. It's about modeling that, working on your own relationship with food and body to help support your children through that process. And if you are curious about supporting your children's body image, then I recommend signing up to the webinar. I've put the link in the description below. And if you are interested in watching more and perhaps thinking about your own relationship with food, then I recommend this video next, which is all about having a healthy relationship with food. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.